Question 14. A, B and C are points on the banks of a river as shown. The width of the river is constant, so it doesn't change. Work out the distance AC, 3 marks, so it's going to be a little bit of work here. AC is here. You can't do Pythagoras. I know you've got two sides of the triangle, but Pythagoras only works with right angles, and this isn't. You can't use SOHCAHTOA for the same reason. SOHCAHTOA only works with right angles. So when you're looking at distances and angles in a non-right angle triangle, it's sine and cosine rule. You only use the sine rule if you can get a complete opposite pair. So do you have a side and an opposite angle? Do you have a side and an opposite angle? We don't here. This is a cosine rule. Typical cosine rule questions, there's only two types. Either you've got a triangle and you get given an angle here and two sides in between. That's the sandwich case. That's actually what this is here. Or you get given three sides, 10, 12, 10, and you have to find an angle. Again, that's a cosine rule question because both of these situations here, you couldn't get a matching pair of an angle and an opposite side. So, cosine rule, if you go to the formula book, your formula sheet, it says a squared equals b squared plus c squared, take away 2bc cos big A. And this is used when you're trying to find a side A. Now, if this is not labelled so that the side you're trying to find is A, you've got two choices. You can either relabel the formula or relabel the triangle. I always relabel the triangle. So if we're finding the distance AC, we need to make sure that side is called little a, which means this angle is big A. It doesn't actually matter where B and C are. We'll call this B and C. That means that would be big B and that would be big C. It doesn't really matter. It's the A's that are important. So A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2bc cos A. So A squared, which is what we're trying to find, B squared plus C squared, it's 43. Take away, and then I imagine it in big brackets, but you don't need the brackets because BODMAS means they'll just times them all together. 2 times B times C times cos big A, which is 100. You don't need brackets because, like I say, BODMAS will multiply this all together before subtracting. So, calculator, 25 squared, add 43 squared, subtract 2 times 25 times 43 times cos 100 equals, goodness me, so A squared equals, when I press equals, I get 2847.34 . But remember, we don't want A squared, we want A. So A equals the square root of my answer, which is 53.4 to 1 decimal place. 53.4. Done. Work out the width of the river, which is the straight distance here. Now there may be another way to do it, but I can't see a Pythagoras way to do it. I'm thinking if I want the width of the river, that's this distance here. Unless I'm missing something, I would know the hypotenuse, that's 25, but I don't know this little length here, do I? Unless I'm being stupid, no. So, but I can use SOHCAHTOA because it's a right angle triangle, and I know this angle, because it's on a straight line, will be 80. So that means I've got the opposite, I've got the hypotenuse, and this is the adjacent. So I'm trying to find the opposite, and I know that the hypotenuse is 25. So O and H means I'm using SOH. So the triangle, it's the sine of the angle, which is 80, equals the opposite, which is something I'm trying to find, over the hypotenuse, 25. So if I'm trying to find the opposite, that's the sine of 80 multiplied by 25. If you're using a calculator, make sure, because I think the calculator's open a bracket there, make sure you close it there. So the sine of 80 multiplied by 25 using the formula triangles. So sine of 80 multiplied by 25, 24.62 something. So 24.6 to 1 decimal place. That was to 1 decimal place. You won't lose a mark if you don't put it. So that's question 14. That's on cosine rule and just suck it to it.